Who made that? Woo! Who made that? Hey everybody, it's Uncle Dave. Today we're gonna make red velvet cake to celebrate Juneteenth. So red velvet cake is one of those old cakes that everybody's mother and grandmama makes. Right here I have a cup of flour. Now the recipe for this is not my own recipe. I got this from Divas Can Cook. It's a wonderful recipe. I am going to cut it in half today because, you know, it's just me and Uncle Mike here and we don't have the need for any huge cake lying around. Oh my goodness, there was something in this flour. That's crazy. I'm glad I'm sifting. All right, this right here, that has, this is buttermilk powder. I don't usually keep buttermilk on hand because it goes bad before I can use it, but this is buttermilk powder. You can buy it in the baking section of Walmart or anywhere you go. That was 2 tablespoons worth, and that was 1 cup of flour there. To that, we're gonna add 1 cup of sugar. I'll be honest, I'm choosing a lot of recipes that are easy to do, and for holidays, I've tried to focus on desserts because everyone knows that there is a hierarchy in families where you can't bring certain things. So the dessert table is usually a good in. And I'm not saying that this dessert is the one that's gonna hit, but one of these that I show you is gonna hit. And when it does, it's gonna be exciting because people are gonna be like, who made that? And then your place at the table, it won't be questioned anymore. There are little crystals of sugar in the bottom here, and that's why we're sifting. All right, to this mixture, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Oh, look, you see this powder trying to stick in there? And a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Now, like I said, I'm halving the recipes. This right here is 1 tablespoon of cocoa. This isn't one of those cakes where you have to cream this and put that together with that. And it's super low stakes, super easy peasy. Whisking this all together so that it looks like the cocoa powder is incorporated, because if the cocoa powder is incorporated, then the rest of it will be fine as well. So for our wet ingredients, this is a 1/2 cup of cooking oil. You can use vegetable oil, canola oil, whatever you have really. Don't go buy new cooking oil. 1/2 cup of water, and to that, I'm going to put 1 egg. And then the last ingredient is a 1/2 cup of coffee, which I think I have about that here, but you never know how much the grains are gonna hold up. That's a 1/2 cup of coffee. The writer of the recipe says do not skip this step. If you do not like coffee, I would use hot water. And then the last few things here, this is vinegar. It is a 1/2 teaspoon of vinegar. You don't necessarily have to add this. So I think that this is, now it can make your cake a little bit more tender, but I think that the buttermilk that we put in is gonna do that. But I think this is a holdover from old red velvet cake recipes. The way red velvet cake used to work is we would use cocoa powder, and then this would help turn the cocoa powder a red color due to some sort of chemistry that was happening. However, now we mostly use Dutch processed cocoa powder. You really have to look for the other kind. That doesn't have the same chemical reaction, but it's in the recipe, so I'm gonna put it. And then we have vanilla. Now, I know that I'm on the wrong side of history on this, but I use imitation vanilla. Imitation vanilla tastes like vanilla. I don't really tell that much difference. The other thing is vanilla is full of volatile flavoring compounds, as I understand it. When you heat them up, they kind of go away. So you're literally paying 4 times as much for something that you're getting very little benefit from. So if you want to use the imitation, don't let them people tell you nothing. You can use imitation vanilla. This is a tablespoon of red food coloring, and that's what gives the cake its color today. All right, that looks fun. So you have this red mixture. We have the dry ingredients. I'm just gonna dump it because I know with this recipe, since I've made it several times, I can. Now, most chocolate cakes have like a loose batter that looks wrong when you put it together. This is no exception. And I know that most people don't think of red velvet as a chocolate cake, but it's chocolate, barely, but it has a little in there. And I am smelling from this now chocolate, vanilla, just good. It just smells good. For my halved cake, what I'm going to do is use 2 of these 6-inch cake pans. This is a weird size and you may not have it, but I also have some weird size cake stands. And so this works well for me. Also, I like the look of a layered cake, but I don't always want a giant layered cake. What she asks for in the recipe is a 9-inch pan. I don't have that. To be more honest, I probably do have it and don't know where it is. This is an 8-inch, this is a 10-inch. This would make either one of these and they would both be fine. We've preheated our oven to 350 degrees here. Well, that has all come together. I'm just gonna eyeball the measurement, but basically you want half and half in each pan. And if I think that this is too much batter for 2 pans, then I do have a third here just in case. Now see, what they don't know is I'm about to get all of this goodness out of here. Now these little bad boys, they are ready for the oven. And you're gonna put these in the oven, and I don't remember how long we're gonna cook them, but I will look it up. I got this old cookie sheet that I use mostly for just putting cakes and things on top of. We're gonna go directly into the oven, 350. We're gonna let that do its thing. I'm gonna clean up this counter, and when I come back, I'm gonna show you this cake, and then we'll work on frosting. I ended up cooking mine for 35 minutes on 350. And the nice thing about using those little 6-inch pans is they work kind of the same as the 9-inch pans when you cut a recipe in half. So I expect that if you're making the full recipe, that it will take you about the same amount of time. We're gonna go ahead and make that icing. I also wanna let you know that I let them cool in the pan for about 10 minutes, then I inverted them onto a wire rack, and now I am freezing the cake. They don't tell you this a lot when you see these cake decorating videos. If you have a cake that you enjoy and that is moist and lovely and good to eat, a lot of times those cakes don't have enough structure to be able to decorate them well, especially if you're a beginner, because they want to fall apart on you. And so the way to mitigate that is to freeze the cake. The cake will unfreeze very quickly. You're going to put room temperature icing on it. It will be fine. But I would say freeze the cake. This is not one of those cakes that you watch when you're seeing cake making videos and they put a bunch of liquid on top of the cake and do a cake soak. I'm not knocking those cakes, they're fine, but those cakes are made for decoration. This cake is made for eating. We're gonna make the frosting. This is a cream cheese frosting. It's also from Divas Can Cook. It's a little bit different than most cream cheese frostings. This is 2 bricks of cream cheese that I mangled getting out of the package because Lord knows I can't look competent doing anything. And then this is 1 stick of butter. 1 stick of butter, softened. These have all been softened on the counter at room temperature for about 4 hours. You should do that too. I'm just gonna break this all up a little bit. And I would not use a whisk for this part. And so that's looking kind of homogeneous now. If you find that this mixture is too hard to work with, you can put it in the microwave. Put it in there for 5 or 10 seconds, stir it around really good. People will tell you not to do that, and I will tell you that I've done it and it's fine. To that, we're gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla. We're gonna measure with our heart. A teaspoon is also about what's in this cap. So 1 cap full of vanilla. I'm gonna put that in there. And I know this is odd, but sugar is a wet ingredient. It's hard to think about it as a wet ingredient because visibly it is dry. But when you add sugar, it's gonna loosen up this mixture even a little bit more. We'll do this whisk. I think it's strong enough to handle the job. This is 2 cups of powdered sugar. So historically, red velvet cake came with ermine frosting. Ermine frosting is a genuinely interesting recipe that I would love to learn how to make, but I have not done it yet. It uses gelatinized flour, and it is less sweet than like a buttercream. This is going to be less sweet than a buttercream as well. because of the proportions that the divas have made here. Now, as a Texas native, I will tell you that Juneteenth is actually a Texas holiday. It was a Texas holiday before it was a national holiday. It marks when the U.S. military landed in Galveston on June 19th of 1865 to let the enslaved population of Galveston know that they were free. I'm just gonna carefully stir this because in a minute I'm gonna go crazy with this whisk to try to get it all incorporated, and I don't wanna make a big mess. Now look at that. It already is looking lighter. I don't want to incorporate too much air into this, to be honest. If you stopped right now, I think this would be just fine. But I just want to make sure that there are no little lumps of sugar or anything. And I know I'm turning this away from the camera, but it does take some elbow grease when you're doing everything by hand. So the reason why I've decided that we're doing this by hand is because I just want to let you know there are ways to do this without all of the fancy machines. I'm gonna make plenty of cakes with fancy machines, but it's not required. This particular cake was made before all those machines existed. Now I'm pleased with this texture. As everything absorbs, it might change just a little bit, but overall this is what we have. And the recipe artist said that this is what it will take to do a full 2 layers. I'm gonna give it a taste. It is a very mildly sweet cream cheese icing. It is very cream cheese forward. If you're not a cream cheese fan, this might not be the way to go for you. I'm kind of on the fence about cream cheese, but I do know, having had this one on the cake before, that the tang and the mild flavor of the chocolate really do go together quite a bit. So I'm happy to use this. And that is your cream cheese icing. We're gonna use this and this, and no real equipment. All I have here is my dollar store bowl and a bunch of ingredients. So come on back and I will show you how to decorate the cake. Our cakes are cooled off. If they're not frozen, they're close. They're definitely cold. The first thing you should do, okay, first I just want to tell you, because I didn't do this on camera, that when you dump the cakes out, they pop out with the bottom on the top and the top on the bottom, if that makes any sense. The reason why I'm bringing that up to you is any kind of dome that happens in the oven, a lot of times that will mitigate that. But this cake doesn't generally have that anyway. Now, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to use this Valentine's Day plate that I painted forever ago, because it goes with our red theme. And I'm going to put, this is just paper towel. The bottom layer, if you're doing a 2-layer cake, you want the flat part, the part that was originally the bottom, to be the bottom again. I'm covering the little triangle that was left on the plate. So here we have our icing. I haven't done anything to this icing except scrape the sides down and kind of make it into a big puddle. And we're going to put a decent sized bloop. And then you're going to take a butter knife. Now, if you have an offset spatula, this is a wonderful time to use it. But basically just a butter knife. And you're going to push the icing toward the edges. And try to get it in a even layer. That way you have an even amount of filling. Now, I do want to tell you that because we have cooled off this cake, that this icing may turn pretty thick pretty quickly. Any problems that you have with this are about to go away, because you're going to take this, and what was originally the bottom of the cake is now going to be the top of the cake because it's flatter. And then we're going to do another bloop about the same size on the top. So this has all been covered. That took no time at all. We're going to put another bloop on the top. and work this out towards the sides and let it go over the sides so that we can cover the sides of the cake. Now this is a little bit fiddly, just take your time, try to be as patient as you can with it. But, I mean, nobody's ever mad at dessert. That's another reason why I have you making desserts for your holidays. It's not only a good way to get involved in the holidays and claim your place at the table, and even a bad, it's like pizza, you know? Even a bad dessert is a good dessert. But we're just putting loops on the side and then working them down the side of the cake. The paper towel is not doing anything other than protecting the plate. Make sure that you get the rest of your icing over into like a corner of the dollar store bowl here. And I want you to take this spoon and dip it in there. And then on the side, we're just gonna do little seeds, little swoop-de-doops. So you can go back and forth with them. Just make it look pretty. You're making it look like a cloud, very random. I think that's good enough. So we do have a little icing left over here. I'm fine with that. It freezes. If I'm being, excuse me, that was rude. If I'm being honest with you, it probably won't make it into the freezer. I think you all knew that already. All right, and so the last part, we're just gonna take the Jesus and frosting holds everything together. Not in the center of the plate. If that bothers you, you can fix it. It doesn't bother me. So we did get all fancy and get a special server out and all of that. I'm not doing that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut us a piece of this. We're gonna cut it in half, and it cuts beautifully, so you can see how it is. Now, red is a traditional color, and the reason why we did red velvet cake today, it's a traditional color to eat around Juneteenth. And this crumb is so nice. You can tell just by looking at it, it's moist. It isn't frozen, but it is cold. Lovely. Lovely, not too sweet. I mean, it's cake, it's supposed to be sweet. Icings on homemade cakes a lot of times are super, super sweet. This is not, it's lovely. It'll be the crowning glory of your table. I really do feel like this is one where friends and family are gonna start asking, who made that? And you don't have to tell them about your Uncle Dave. I mean, what we're doing here, this can be a secret. But I do want you to share this with your family. I do want you to try it yourself. If nobody's told you this week, I'm proud of you, and I thank you for stopping by. Bye.